mostly he experienced mind seizures where the next is draw his pencils, his body stiffened, and he would write and write, and the teacher recognized it. And now it is about the cerebral neurological, it is basically about chronic neurological conditions. It comes under that.
So you would have marked these two?
Yes, we have to.
So table number 2 is like locomotor movements. That could be a nervous issue.
Yes. And we would again find it because he was continuously tired. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a great. Please can you have a round of applause for teachers?
On the part 2 screening by the counselor, and after the counselor's observation, the counselor has realized that the child has difficulty seeing in low lighting or feels the need to move towards the source of light. The child holds a book too far or too close while reading. The student frequently rubs their eyes frequently. So after the part 2 screening, the counselor comes to not a conclusion, but it is a suspected case of low vision. So the counselor further goes for the third, specific checklist of low vision, and then she comes to a conclusion from her side that it is a suspected case of low vision, and thus the further case is forwarded according to the protocol.
Can we have a round of applause for that? Thank you, Ma'am. Exactly, because the teacher had marked some issues with locomotor, with the movement issues, and yet the case was taken forward. It was not just a temporary, probably the child had an accident and fractured a limb, and yet Prashast has taken the child forward because there were some other issues the child was facing. So probably has a vision correction too, which would have gone misdiagnosed, just given that the child has an accident and will be recovered. So here we've been able to identify, even though there were some false positives, when we do a screen, we do see that those details don't actually exist. So probably the locomotor problem that the child is having is temporary, it will go away, but the vision issues have come up and need to be corrected. So that's how the checklist helps in identifying these hidden needs. Thank you.
There is a child who is 13-year-old, teenager, just starting teenager. He is showing signs of withdrawal, slow response time, and independence. So the teacher taxes the cognitive probable emotional needs. So according to the list 1, part 1, the suspected disabilities were speech and language disorder and autism spectrum disorder and it's speech and language disability and intellectual disability, specific learning disabilities, autism spectrum disorder, mental behavior and chronic neurological conditions. So I would rather say these are all false positives again, because what I believe, if a child is temporarily or suddenly exhibiting such behavior, it cannot be due to slow learning disabilities, because it could have been present since long. And any recent observations may be due to the family issues he is facing or any other problems he is facing in his surroundings. So our suspected disability conditions, emotional delay, may be due to the
Exactly. So when you, the special educators and counselors, would get a checklist, you would have all these ticks. The child is not concentrating, the child is not reading, not answering, not understanding, right? And they fall under this umbrella of disabilities. Now, really, is the child having all those? He or she has reached grade 7, right? So you as special educators will understand that these are all false positives. When you actually go for observations and do the part 2, you will be able to rule out all of these. Otherwise, man has listed 5 or 6 disabilities, which is not possible in one child, right? Probably he's having an emotional or mental issue, maybe suffering with some family issue or some other trauma, teenage time, disturbed, and not attending to the classes. Okay? So that is really good, and we could bring up these different kind of challenges that we usually face day in day out, and how we can overcome using a standardized checklist with the cooperation of the teachers, parents, as well as the special educators and counselors. So it's a team effort. Everyone needs to give in their informal and formal observations, and then we can help the child. Right? Any queries? If you have any questions, you can ask, because the app, you can go further on it.
I just have a doubt because in a school there are a lot of children, more than 2000. So is it compulsory that every teacher or the special educator do the checklist via phone on the laptop? Only digital, or can we make the printouts and then, which is possible? Can be also doubt. So if taking multiple hard copies also will be very difficult. So can we put a consolidated Excel sheet where in one sheet itself whole school will have each section, teacher will fill, and then the special educator will directly have the access to the Excel sheet.
Class A, class 6, and give it to the teachers, the access, and then they mark your observation. In that case, you have to maybe copy like that, Prashast punch and do something that and share it with the teachers. The app is made to send the data directly to the CBSE. So even though the teachers are not using it, then the special educator is finally concising the data. There are tables, the final class-wise and the school-wise table. That school-wise table will have a concise information of all the children in the school having suspected disabilities, so and so and so. That needs to be filled up in the app. That needs to go to the CBSE. So that has to be done in the app. This data collection is good as a job.
Is that we have some students who are suspected, right? Like the approach parents, all the time the parents who have consent. So at the end of the day, when we are creating a consolidated sheet for a school, so what kind of data that we need to put in there? It is collectively whether the parents have given consent or not, or they are suspected, they are being confirmed, or it is like specific kind of data only has to be given, like the students who are confirmed, who have given the consent by the parents, like what kind of data that we need to put forth to CBSE.
It's just when for suspected disabilities, we are not authorizing that, we are not crossing out that they are having this particular disability. So it's okay now. You're going to take the parent consent in any case, because you have observed the child and the special educators have observed. So you need to give that information to the parent. You need to take an acknowledgement from them saying that we have told you about this child and this is about your child. So please be reaching your acknowledgement. That data that is with you confidential. Your suspected disability data goes to CBSE, doesn't need any authorization. It is just for the benefit of the child to avail those concessions later. If they have an authorized letter, then they can go further, and this needs to be told to the parents. Once this is told to the parents, then they be more, so they will accept it and they will go further and give their consent.
If the parent denied that, if they refuse to acknowledge that in that case, because we have come across some cases that the parents had a denial. So in that case, what we have to do is we have to make sure that we have multiple sittings with the parent. First, parent needs to be counseled that it is your child needs help, and we cannot go forward with it. So it so happens that the first 2 meetings would be definitely challenging, but we have to be more repetitive, and it should be in such a way that we are able to convince the parent it is for their child's benefit. Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
We need the parent consent. It would be better we don't send it, because it's the parents' consent. That's very important, and that's the next step. They have given us these steps, so we follow those steps. Yes, and then you have to prepare the IEPs also based on all these consents and other things. So it's better that parents are on board.
So I think that I think when they are in the primary or middle, they will support the child. But actually, when they come to 10, then they will understand the importance. This is my take on
The
it.
parents will come and blame the teachers, and the teachers are not teaching my child. child correctly. My child says nothing is wrong with the child. And he or she is bright, but they are not being taught well in the school. The school is not doing its job. That's what usually parents happen. That is why this checklist will help you. You have a documented report in front of you, the special educators, because teachers you will not be able to convince and talk to them about this. So you can refer them directly to the special educators. They will be able to explain that based on this checklist, you have observed these behaviors. These are of concerns, and this is the further management.
When the child is in 10th also, we can furnish the same information.
There is a deadline. So when you give the list to the CBSE for the children who are appearing for the board exams, there is a deadline. Before that deadline, they need to submit these certifications. Then they can avail concessions.
Oh,
So this date information is along with that.
So even when they come to 10th, if the parent agree, we can give the details to them. What are the deadline given, we can do.
Yes.
Because we had seen even about with the pre-primary parents will not agree.
Exactly.
Because there
It's
is
a right.
a
I have personally also experienced this. It takes sometimes 6 months to a year also for them to accept that there is some kind of issue.
They need a certification for availing these exceptions. Without certification, they are not going to get any
so
exceptions.
from authorized with
Yes, authorized.
Whoever is the RCM certified body, my signature to me that they will get a concession. So they need to get that certificate. That certificate also needs to be sent to the CBSE. Yes.
Okay, so sometimes the children do not have the disability from the beginning. Later on, due to some injury, they get some kind of disability. So that can also be checked, and then the information can be passed. And what about the students in grade 11th and 12th? Is there a similar kind of deadline that is given?
Yes, for grade 12, they can avail and these concessions once they get the certification from the authorized agency or from a clinic or hospital, they can avail these exhibitions.
Now, we have supposingly there are students who are already, the parent has given the consent and we have already shared their needs with the CBSE. So the same process we have to do it every year for those students, or we have to give separate fresh list, or how the process goes further?
Every year it has to go to basically, yes.
And grade level is going to change, and also we have this new documentation of their academic record. So probably all this is going to be late. So as they progress grade wise, we need to update even in the Prashast.
there is the age for
So this is what excites all.
The field you have chosen for the group, because it takes a big heart to deal with special children. So let's give a big round of applause to all of you, and do continue, because it is associated with a lot of negative energy. Every day we go back home with the feeling that we've not done it for the day, and the targets we have are generally not met. But every single step you take, every single thing you do will be materialized very smoothly. So wishing the team good luck. You've been really amazing, and you've taken us through the show in a very systematic way. So I'm sure we all are going to have easier time with this precious. Wishing everyone good luck.
Thank you.
And you may have a counselor and you may not have a counselor. You may have a special educator, you may not have a special educator. You may have a principal, you may not have a principal. You might have entered into UDICE, you might not have entered into UDICE. But you cannot remain behind, because this is an education system which is collaborative in nature. Clap for CBSE. Now clap. And that is what we are visualizing. That is the vision NEP 2020. So what did they do? They have identified our counselor Comparatively. She has become the master trainer. Now this master trainer I have taken into consideration. Yes ma'am, you can clap now. Yes, this is very much essential for the accolades that she must receive. And we have done wonders. We have done an occupational well-being of teachers. If you want, one day we will conduct a workshop for that also. All of us, let us grow together. Why only us? We are not I'm rights. Every time I use a word, I'm right, the fountainhead. Okay? I always want every one of us to grow. And every one of us to experience that kind of beauty of literacy that is happening around the world. And we are the first to have that kind of a collaborative effort for you all. So, under her stewardship, we made each and every one, this lady Shakuntala, she has just joined. Come here. This right hand to us, and especially to the principal, Shakuntala has brought in a long richness and an experience and an exposure along with her. So we said, why not utilize for everyone? And then there is this Trishya. Now come here, Trishya. So Trishya came from US just for the sake of her father. She left everything, and when she was doing the research, she was working in the research lab, and then her topic was on neurodiversity. Something to do with the brain and neurons and so on and so forth. She was quite pulled into this kind of a topic when I announced. Then she said, ma'am, can I also work with them? This trinity has become a team. Now I have no problems. I don't have to go everywhere and replicate myself. These three are empowered now to replicate. So in all the 40 schools we are doing this. But before that, a master trainer, she told me, ma'am, first I should do it for my sports schools. I said, okay, do it for your sports schools. So Anuradha says, ma'am, why not immediately? I said, okay, fine, do it. So my research resource department, where I'm again the executive director, so my research head, she said, ma'am, how can I be left behind? I want to come and I want to see what the work that these ladies are doing. I will stop here so that there's a little suspense. Okay? And here, my research head. Good afternoon, the principals here, as well as all the school counselors and special educators from various schools. This school, BACHUPALLY, just started 1.5 years back. Now, I think all of you should clap for this school. It's an amazing school, international school, with about 1,500 students, out of which 1,350 students are in the Cambridge stream. At the first time, the students have already appeared for the checkpoint examination. So the credit goes to the teachers and the counselors and the special educators that are here with the leader, that is Mrs. Anuradha. Yes, so only 150 students, or the rest of the students, my count may go wrong, so don't worry about it. The rest of the students are in the CBSE stream. That too only in the higher classes, that is 6th, 7th and 8th. We have not yet gone into the higher level, that is the 9th and the 10th, A levels and O levels, we have not yet taken up. So we are a certified Cambridge school, right? And at this hour, I am very happy to announce my team of counselors and the special educators. They have laid a lot of emphasis for all those students whose parents had aspired that they have to have a Cambridge curriculum and not a CBSE curriculum. They did not meet the standards of Cambridge. For your kind information, I must confess it, because they did not meet the standards. But the aspirations were very high. Parents will expect, isn't it so? That was the time where the necessity has arisen for us to have the counselors and the special educators, because there are children with differentially abled. So that also we have taken, because Cambridge is an inclusive education system, right? So that education system provides a space for all. And our team of these counselors, they have taken such kind of initiatives that we are slowly building up these other students also to come up to the levels that what we want, and may not be the exact standard of Cambridge, but at least to a level of satisfaction for the parents. So in these efforts, sometimes we may have brickbats, sometimes we may have bouquets. Okay? Some parents will immediately appreciate, and some parents want immediate, instant 2-minute noodles. That is not possible. As a national councillor of CBSE, as well as Manudar, standing here right in front of you, I found that this is very, very necessary for all of us in the year 2025 to have inclusive education. And moreover, CBSE has taken several measures to ensure that all the children get an opportunity and they are empowered in some way or the other. They had developed this after a long time of research. Though they had in the policy that there has to be special concessions, and we all had been doing it, and then we all had, for the last so many years we had been doing it. As a principal of Delhi Public School, right from the beginning I had been doing it. And I had been taking concessions also, but then what is it that we were doing? It was a simple unwash. Because our students who were diagnosed with certain kind of needs and necessities, from the standardized tests that we had from NIMH or WIMHANS or somewhere, we were implementing and we were identifying, and our counselors, they're not clinical psychologists. So as a result, we were sending them to Sweetmar or some other branch and getting them diagnosed, and then we were doing the help that is possible. And then taking concessions with evidences and other things. CBSE does not just give you that kind of a concession. And the concessions, what are they giving? For dyslexia, dyscalculia or dysgraphia or any other learning abilities, they are giving 1 hour extra. And a scribe may be given in the utmost cases. What is that 1 hour extra? Does it mean any difference to the child who is differently abled? However, leaving aside all that history, geography behind, now I come to the point why this Prashast has become so very important. Because by 2025, this is 2025, June, they are not going to accept any other clinical diagnosis by any other person other than this Prashast app, which is a well-researched app wherein the 21 different kinds of statements have been given, which are very, very, very easily recognizable for a normal teacher. So when you go back to the school, every teacher has to observe the children. What is it that they have to do? Just observe for 2 weeks. And just click only those children who you have identified with some kind of a, special ability. We are not using the term Divyangans because we have not recruited children, with kind of Divyangan abilities. Okay, so children with special needs, this is their own learning abilities that we are talking about. If you have included Divyangas, that is also there in the app. So then they have developed the app, and believe it or not, the counseling for me through the country has become very difficult. Because every alternate minute I was getting calls asking for clarification. What is it that the teacher has to do? What is it that the special educator has to do? What is it that the principal has to do? Ma'am, principal has changed in Himachal Pradesh. The call comes. Principal has changed and we are not able to verify. What do we do now? What do we do now? Because there was a date that was given by which all of us were supposed to be completing this, which we did not. So they have again, rose up and they said, okay, now at least take, because we are known for our late Latif works. Okay, so they said, okay, go ahead, do it at least by June. We are a chain of schools of Pallavi, about 40 educational institutions, and the DPS, as a founder of DPS Natural, Mahendra and other areas, what we have found is any teacher for that matter They don't have patience to observe the child for those 2 weeks and identify. After they identify, the special educator student comes. And every teacher was asking me, "Ma'am, how can I identify? How can I update?" So there came in my counselors team. They came to my rescue and they said, "No, ma'am, we will make it possible. We will ensure that everyone understands." And I said, "How do you make them understand?" There has to be a hands-on work. And they must experience the app. Can they download? Can they not? What is the first step? What is the second step? What is the third step? Sorry for taking your time, but I thought that, this was to be poured out to you all. When you go back home, you must tell, as a counselor of nation, she was standing and she was expressing all the concerns for the teachers, concerns for the principals. Principals were frantic. They were asking me, "Ma'am, my UDICE app does not work. My this thing does not work. My email does not work. What do I do? What do I do?" So for everything, I was giving clarity. Now I don't have to. My team is there. Now clap for the team which has done such a wonderful job. Have they not given you simulative situations? Have they not given you hands-on work? Have they not given you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3? How are we going about? This is a series of ways that we have to follow. And now when you go back, if you replicate, fine, well and good, because this is a hub school. Clap for Anuradha. This is the leader who made this as a hub school. Hub school is a parental school for all the children around. So who are the children? You all. Okay? You are the ones who are there, and you may have a counselor and you may not have a counselor. You may have a special educator, you may not have a special educator. You may have a principal, you may not have a principal. You might have entered into UDICE, you might not have entered into UDICE. But you cannot remain behind, because this is an education system which is collaborative in nature. Clap for CBSE. Now clap. And that is what we are visualizing. That is the vision NEP 2020. So what did they do? They have identified our counselor, Kamyatri. She has become the master trainer. Now this master trainer I have taken into consideration. Yes ma'am, you can clap now. You can clap. Yes, this is very much essential for the accolades that she must receive. And we have done wonders. We have done an occupational well-being of teachers. If you want, one day we will conduct a workshop for that also. All of us, let us grow together. Why only us? We are not Ayn Rands. Every time I use a word, Ayn Rand, the fountainhead. Okay? I always want every one of us to grow. And every one of us to experience that kind of beauty of literacy that is happening around the world. And we are the first to have that kind of a collaborative effort for you all. So, under her stewardship, we made each and every one. This lady, Shakuntala, she has just joined. Come here. This right hand to us, and especially to the principal, Shakuntala has brought in a long richness and an experience and an exposure along with her. So we said, why not utilize for everyone? And then there is this Trishya. Now come here, Trishya. So Trishya came from US just for the sake of her father. She left everything, and when she was doing the research, she was working in the research lab, and then her topic was on neurodiversity. Something to do with the brain and neurons and so on and so forth. She was quite pulled into this kind of a topic when I announced. Then she said, ma'am, can I also work with them? This trinity has become a team. Now I have no problems. I don't have to go everywhere and replicate myself. These three are empowered now to replicate. So in all the 40 schools we are doing this. But before that, a master trainer, she told me, ma'am, first I should do it for my sports schools. said, okay, do it for your sports schools. So Anuradha says, ma'am, why not immediately? So, okay, fine, do it. So my research resource department, where I'm again the executive director, so my research head, she said, ma'am, how can I be left behind? I want to come and I want to see what the work that these ladies are doing. I will stop here so that there's a little suspense. Okay? And here, my research head, Mrs. Vasundhara, she will speak for herself, I suppose. Congratulations, Anuradha and my team. I'm proud of you. Over to you.
My suspense remains.
So that comes after me talking, ma'am?
No. No. Not like a suspense.
Okay, so you carry that with you all.
I don't think I really need a mic. I'm too
Yes,
loud.
Okay. So I think I'll keep it far, otherwise I have a tendency like any teacher to talk loudly. So I think first and foremost, I think it is so nice to see all of us together. I'll not say you, it is us. The very fact that you are from different schools but you are here shows your commitment. And that commitment, you are like the frontline workers. See, teachers teach, they have their own importance. But they have these challenges with children, and I'm sure everyone comes with, what do I do with this child? How do I handle that child? And we are very limited as teachers, as to how to address them. So you are the people who are very sensitive, who are trained, who are empathetic. You know how to go about and identify what is the root cause. And you are the people who will tell us how to handle them. And then the life of the teachers gets easy. And I think more important, the children get the right direction. That's the most important. So what I see here is a room full of sensitive, empathetic individuals who have skills, greater skills than regular teachers as well.
Yes, Vasundhara, here you stop and all of us clap for them.
Yes. And the impact you have is not just on math, science, social, whatever. It is on their life itself. What you are going to do today will impact them forever. It will make them better than what they could have been. So I think what you are doing is, and I am displaced. It's extremely difficult and extremely important. So, and honestly today, Prashast, I have heard about it, I know what it means. But when I saw them taking you through it, it was a learning for me. And I am so amazed that there is such a structured approach. Previously, when I was a teacher, there was nothing. It was just intuition. I think it is this, I think it is that. Let's try this. Those days are gone. And I'm so happy that there are people like you choosing to be counselors and special educators and making an ocean of difference to the children. So I only request you all to keep being compassionate, be together, collaborate, and together ensure that you are responsive, vigilant, and the children under your care can actually become better. With whatever they carry is not in our control, however they are born, but at least you can make them better than what they were. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much for being here. And I think Trivedi ma'am, Shakuntala ma'am, Drisha, I think you're doing a wonderful job. It was very informative for me as well. Thank you so much.
Suspense holds. Okay, till the time मुट्ठी बंद है तो क्या suspense रहेगा? बहुत कुछ आने वाला है. This is the first scene. Act 2 follows. Okay? Yeah. Thank you all. I think we just close. Suspense is waiting. Okay? So I will be talking to the principals and the heads that are here. And the others,
We'll just wait.
certificates?
Honored if you can just give the certificates and also tea, cup of tea.
Yeah, so give me the cup of tea because they're all tired. Okay, so you can have a cup of tea. Meanwhile, we'll take these two people along with us and we'll get back to you. So have a cup of tea and let the certificate distribution will happen. Okay, thank you.